Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and we have breaking news. FBI is now preparing a press conference on the Brian Laundrie search. So happy because I got a full panel. We got Steph the Alternerd, Louis Lecca from Nerd Report. But sorry, guys, most importantly, we have John Hubbard from John Hubbard Investigations here. Detective John has been joining us throughout to give us his insight on this. And this is a big day because, as we reported earlier, it does seem like we may have found the body. John, your expertise on everything we've seen so far as we wait for this press conference to start. We will stop talking and go to it immediately as soon as it's ready. But based on the police presence we're seeing, based on the fact that there's a medical examiner there, based on the fact that now they've did a big caution tape area, now that they're doing an FBI press conference, what is your, now it's, they did say partial human remains, but what do you think we're about to get in this press conference, John?
So it depends on what they're saying. If it's just human remains, to me, that's not Brian Laundrie. But they have to, because this case is so big, they have to tell us. Everybody thinks it's him. So if it is, they have to confirm it, and if it's not, they have to tell us so. They are obligated to make this release, in my opinion. So if it's a body, I think there's a great chance that it's Brian. If it's human remains, if that's the terminology they're using, I'm gonna, my guess and wager would be it's not him.
Interesting. Okay, well, we'll know in a second. And we're any minute now. Within the next minute or two, the FBI will take over this press conference. When they come in there, I will shut up. We will turn off our mics and have this ready. But do you expect this to be a quick press conference, right? They're just going to come in and tell us what they need to know.
They're either going to tell us it's Brian Laundrie or it's somebody else.
Well, there you go. So, guys, lots more to go through here. As we'll talk about and speculate as much as we can once we have some information. But today we've been just wondering all day, what does this mean? Did they find the body? So many people, John, Steph, Louis, audience, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be very frustrated when they find out, oh, he was right where the Laundries told him all along, and the Northport police didn't properly check it. John, I mean, if that ends up happening, which I want to get your comments as we learn what happens, if we find out that, yes, Brian's been in this reserve, I mean, I guess he could have been underwater is another theory. He could have been underwater. Now they're saying it's dried up. Do you think the Northport police will have egg on their face if it turns out that the Laundries were right and he was there in that campsite?
Egg on your face is an understatement.
There's gonna be some heads that roll.
Oh, yeah, there's going to probably be some resignations and, maybe some firings. Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, people have to take the hit. That's all there is to it, if that turns out to be. But let's wait and see. I don't want to be rushing to judgment. Let's see what this comes up to be. And by the way, you can only stay underwater for so long. If there's dogs searching, you've seen these Tarzan movies where there's, breathing through a reed in the water. I mean, you can only do that for so long. The dogs are going to smell the human scent. So
yeah, I mean, they had dogs there. That's the other thing that's so weird about it, right? They had the dogs there and everything.
Wait. Early on, I thought they did. When they first did the search, did they not have helicopters and canines? Yeah.
I mean, Chris Laundrie was there he wasn't in this area. This is where the Mustang was. Is another odd port.
That's where he dropped the car off. He had to, if in fact he's there, he had to walk from the Mustang.
Right.
Somewhere. So,
and there'll be a lot of pieces that we'll have to piece together still, because I'm sure they're not going to tell us everything right now. But if they find the body, figuring out, well, how far was it from the Mustang? How long was he there? How long he was there, the dead body, is something because they told us Gabby was there for, 2 to 4 weeks. Like, they gave a very long period there. Do they know more than they're going to tell us on that? Typically, when you have an investigation, and it should be said, John Hubbard has 34 years experience as a detective investigator. He is not on this case. I want to make sure I give that disclaimer. But typically, in your experience as a detective, private investigator, do you usually know how long they've been there quicker than what they're telling us about the Gabby's body?
Yeah, I think the autopsy will reveal all of that.
Interesting, because even when we got that finally from the coroner on Gabby, they only
gave you what they wanted to give you out of it. You didn't actually get a copy of the report, nor did you get a copy of the toxicology report.
All right, well, here we go.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Josh Taylor with the Northport Police Department. Thank you for your continued diligence on this story, and thanks for your patience. As you know, the Northport Police Department has worked collaboratively with the FBI throughout this investigation. Special Agent Michael McPherson is going to make a prepared statement. There's not going to be any questions today, but hopefully it answers some of them. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael McPherson. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the FBI Tampa Division. As you're aware, the FBI and the Northport Police Department and our state and local law enforcement partners have been searching the area of the Carlton Reserve for Brian Laundrie, a person of interest in the murder of Gabby Petito. Earlier today, investigators found what appears to be human remains, along with personal items such as a backpack and notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie. These items were found in an area that up until recently have been underwater. Our evidence response team is on scene using all available forensic resources to process the area. It's likely the team will be on scene for several days. I know you have a lot of questions, but we don't have all the answers yet. We are working diligently to get those answers for you. We are grateful for the dedication and professionalism of the Northport Police Department, along with our partners from the state and local agencies. Complex investigations such as this cannot be accomplished by one agency alone, but there are just too many agencies to name them all here today. Portions of the Myakkahatche Creek Environmental Park and Carlton Reserve will remain closed to the public until further notice. This is an active and ongoing investigation, so we ask the public to maintain distance from any law enforcement personnel, equipment, vehicles, and other related activity for the safety of the public and to protect the integrity of our work. We have no additional comment related to today's activities. Our FBI Denver office is the lead investigative agency, and all future inquiries should be directed to them. We appreciate the tremendous support from the public and continue to ask for your assistance in bringing this investigation to close. Thank you.
Was the backpack found near the body? Justice for Gabby! Justice for Gabby!
Well, there we go. So, John, they didn't really just confirm it, but they pretty much did, right? Is that as much as we can expect? What is your take on this?
No doubt in my mind, they found Brian Laundrie.
Man.
Because if it wasn't, they would have just said we found human remains that are not. Matter of fact, at the end, he said, brings this investigation to a close. How can you close it if the suspect is still on the loose? He gave it up right there in the very end.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So this is going to be heavy for a lot of people.
So it sounds like it's a possibility that he drowned. I'd still want to know, obviously, they know how he died. Did he drown? Did he try to stay underwater while, the troops were over top of him? He could have drowned the very first night. Who knows? I don't know. But I can tell you, it appears to me that they did find his body. That's what it appears to me. They've got it, or they would have never said that brings this investigation to a close.
Oh, my goodness. So, okay, well.
And he's trying to hold out for his boys in Northport, but I got news for you. They got they got real issues ahead.
I mean, Josh really dressed up today, tried to distract us, but I'm not buying it either. I'm really frustrated with the department, and if they were indeed there, this excuse that it was underwater, you also call foul to that too, because you said the dogs would notice that, correct?
Yeah, so the dogs get tired. They only have a limited time span of work before they have to recoup and then do it again. That's why it's not unusual to see 5 dogs show up. They're not doing 5 different areas. They're working a dog until they've used him, and then they take the next dog to pick up from there, keep moving it. That's usually what happens. But in this deal, again, I mean, how deep was the water? And now it's dried up. I mean, his backpack, it had to be pretty deep. Let's just say it was 2 feet deep. Do you think 2 feet of water can dry up in a month? I beg to differ. Find me a pond that's lost 2 feet of water in the last 30 days. I don't see it.
So
I don't buy this. I don't buy that.
So they aren't. I mean, does it surprise you that they didn't just say that the confidence that it's Brian? I mean, is that just something they have to do to be safe?
I'm surprised he didn't say that. I am surprised.
Because I want to reiterate, he did not say it was Brian. I mean,
I know
reading
but he
between the
also
lines,
said-
it sure seems like they found a notebook, they found a backpack next to a body.
Look how many of them are out there still. You know, this is not the remains of some homeless guy that wandered out into the woods and died. And then he said, this brings this investigation to a close. That, to me, he only needed to say that for me.
Right, in order to get close to bringing this to a close. Right, it is very interesting. So at the end of the day, I mean, can we say it's his body? And it's still, it's so frustrating how they did this. They clearly are trying to tell us, back off. We think we found the body. We're telling you this much. Leave us alone for another week as we get everything together. And I imagine part of that for people who are upset right now, and I see it in the chat. Trust me, we're going to talk.
Happen.
We're going to take some calls. We're going to get your thoughts. But yeah, how? Go ahead. You were going to say something.
Before the sun goes down, the big national media has a lot more pressure techniques than we do, and you will see somebody's going to come out with a confirmation that it's Brian's body. It won't be us. It'll be somebody. But for him to say that this investigation is come to a close and they're not taking any questions and yada yada yada, again, now they're going to try to allow these, especially Northport. They're the ones front and center, front page. They've got a lot. They're going to have some soul searching of who's got to go over this deal. It's just the way it works.
Right, and John has a lot of experience in Florida, Pinellas County, to be specific, not too far from Northport, so he knows how this works. He's been in the industry for a while, and I'm grateful for your insight. There's so much to talk about, and I want to digest it all. We're going to go live. I may even take some calls because I know a lot of you are upset. There's a lot of feelings in the chat as I'm seeing it go by quickly. What's next for people who are sad and frustrated and cry? I mean, so many crying. I'm trying to hold back my own emotions of the reality of just how sad this is. Of it feels like we're not going to get justice. John, is what this feels like.
Well, no.
What can you say to those people and myself who are feeling nervous that we may not get what we want?
Completely disagree with anybody who thinks justice isn't served. If you feel like Brian Laundrie is the suspect, and certainly his reaction to what took place puts him there. He did it to himself. And then whether he drowned, got trampled, committed suicide, whatever. The person that was responsible for Gabby's death is now, he's deceased as well. To me, I'm sorry, but I find justice in that. That is no different than we go into a jury and we find somebody guilty and then we execute them with the death sentence. That's justice has been served. He just bypassed the whole system. And it is what it is. He couldn't face, apparently, he could not face the fact that he was going to be incarcerated for the rest of his life and deal with all the embarrassment that he's already brought to his family. And that's not going to go away, by the way. The parents did what they did. They chose not to cooperate until the very end. And again, then you can blame, their big wig attorney that thinks he's so great. I'd like to know how many phone calls he's going to get from suspects that think he's such a great, defense attorney.
A lot of people.
My ignorance, but is Florida a death penalty state?
No, I believe we do not. I wish we did. They did away with the chair. I don't even know if they do lethal injection anymore.
Right. So even
but this is a federal case anyway. So this is going to be up with the feds. This is the FBI's case, and it doesn't matter what Florida's death sentence is because the crime of murder did not occur in Florida. It occurred out in I believe it was Wyoming. So it's going to be what is their laws say because that's where the crime occurred, not here.
Okay.
And we're going to replay in a minute, guys. I'm clipping this so you guys can have the breaking news. I want to get, and then I'm going to post this. There's a clip of this, and then we'll go through it again with everybody. But John, while we have you still, and as we wrap up this segment, and then we'll talk with you all guys and replay the press conference together. I mean, will we know? Will they tell us at this point now that they can't charge him if he's dead, right? Will we find out? But will we find out was it suicide? Was he eaten by alligators? Everyone's sort of speculating in here. Do you think at some point they're going to reveal that?
They're going to have to tell us that. They're not going to be able to keep that a secret. And why would they anyway? Like I said, the homicide mystery is over. It's solved. So, Yeah, if he got eaten by a gator and the gator took him off into it, oh well. The whole thing was preventable. He didn't. A, he didn't have to kill her. B, he didn't have to run and hide. And C, his parents didn't have to,
play stupid. I'm like, oh, he just went for a walk in the reserve after Gabby's been missing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, but anyway, you feel like there still can be justice for Gabby here is the final word I want to end with you. You think
absolutely
civil cases, there's a lot still that can come out of this to try and get what happened.
Hey, I'm not trying to be, mean here or even, if Brian presumably killed her, now he's gone. That's justice. And no matter whether he got hit by a car, struck by lightning, bitten by a gator, drowned, self-inflicted, doesn't matter. Justice has been served. The person that was responsible for her death is now gone.
Yeah, but I think the answer is the justice is part of that justice is answers. And some people, I think death is too easy. I would have liked this guy behind bars, and I want to know why he did it. I want to get those questions. Can there be civil cases still? And I'm going to bring in Christopher Melcher at some point later to get those legal questions too. But you do think there are some other means that can get us justice in other ways too?
There's no doubt that the Laundrie family, if they have any assets, that the Petitos, if they so choose, are going to cash in. Look at how they even handled it when she didn't return. They didn't call the cops. They didn't call the family. They didn't call nobody. Stop acting like you guys have your head in the sand and you don't know what's going on. This girl lived in your house. You chose not to call law enforcement and report her missing. So don't act like you're the greatest little house on the prairie parents here. The Waltons here. It's not happening.
Look, there's a lot to go through here, and I do have to say it. I know a lot of people don't want to say it, even if it's unpopular. They are parents. They're human beings. They just lost their son. If this is indeed Brian, I do feel for that. I do have some emotion for the Laundries.
And I will say because of that, I don't believe that they will probably face prosecution because of that. That's my opinion. Furthermore, though, the civil court's a whole nother deal. No one's going to jail. It's all about,
assets.
How much money are they going to pay? That's right. It doesn't bring Gabby back. Not going to bring Brian back. But you know what? It's just the way this society that we're in. You're still going to have to pay.
Well, I want to thank you, John. There's so much more. There's still a lot I'm processing, but I want to make sure we at least got you Detective John Hubbard's information, his take on this, as well as the press conference. Go subscribe to Hubbard Investigations. We're always grateful for him coming in and offering his expertise. Thank you for being here, John. If you want to stick around for another minute, please do, but I want to clip this for YouTube so you guys have the full report. Watch it and share it. What do you think? We got so much more to talk about in this. This case is not over. We need to confirm this, and I'm already seeing a lot of conspiracies out there that we're clearly going to have to debunk or I guess hear out a little bit, but lots more to do. So please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts. We will keep you covered on what's actually happening. And thank you to all of you who've been here. And I do want to mention next Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, we are going to be doing a charity stream. It's DV Awareness Month. I would love to see you guys there. So I will put that in the description as well, and probably at the end of this video. Stay tuned. We'd love your support when we do that. A lot of special guests will be coming and we'll be supporting Gabby as well as just raising awareness for that important cause. So thanks to everybody who's watching. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. There's so much more to talk about here. Just want to clip this so I can load it up for breaking news. Appreciate all you guys watching live.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.